literally change the face of the world of medical research and treatment. I think we are on the cusp of something really, really big, and I want you to understand why I believe that and why we all have that. And these three gentlemen here are a major, important part of that. So I'm going to start, I'll introduce first. We have Todd Foster, who's the head of HealthTree Cure Hub. You're the head of, I don't know anybody's title, I'll be honest with you. You're the head of product, okay? He's the head honcho. Nathan is, we have 2 PhDs on staff. You know, I can think of no other organizations like ours that have PhDs on staff that help run research. So here we have Nathan Sweeney and Jay Hydron. Jay's relatively new. I just remembered his last name. But I'd like to start, we normally just save Q&A for the questions, but I want to ask one question of each of them, and then we should have about 5 or 6 minutes left. And if you have any questions, please ask them, and then we'll go to Dr. Manny after that. So first of all, let me, oh gosh, my phone. Todd, what do you do to make HealthTree Cure Hub more effective for researchers?
All right, so with HealthTree Cure Hub, well, first of all, HealthTree and the myeloma crowd, when it first started, has built an amazing community of people. And when we started building Cure Hub, I don't know, we weren't sure what the reception would be for a system where you share your medical records. We like to say you share your stories with us. And so we built it, and you know, it's been around almost 4 years. And we have about 11,000 patients in the system, 11,000 multiple myeloma patients in the system. So I think the trust that was built has helped that, but there's a lot of patients sharing their stories with us. And you know, we call it Cure Hub because it is a hub of all of these patients' data coming into one place. And many cancer patients go to more than one place, you know, for treatments and everything that's going on in their lives, and we're able to pull that into one system and have all that data there. And then I don't want to upset Dr. Sporoff, but you know, we did put cure in there. It is a hub where we hope that we can find a cure to this disease, and that takes all of you sharing your story. So that's my answer.
Thank you. That gives you a good sense. And the next question is for Jay, and so how might Cure Hub change the way clinical trials are conducted in the future?
Well, it truly is a wonderful question to ask because clinical trials require a lot of resources, and to get enough patients into a data set with some really important endpoints is a huge challenge, and takes a lot of really well-trained researchers to do that. But in HealthTree Cure Hub, we have your story. We can label your data. We know that a drug you take is related to your induction therapy, your consolidation, your maintenance, your second treatment. And then we can quickly, in an afternoon, identify a cohort and look at them and see how they're doing. And then know for you as a patient in your story if there's other people like you and how they did on those treatments. And right now we can't, but we're really seeing a pathway where if you tell us your story and who you are, there might be a clinical trial in our data set that's very, very similar to who you are and could help you in your treatment decision. We're reproducing clinical trials with their data set right now with very similar sample sizes to what the clinical trials are. This morning you saw clinical trials between 100 and 200 people. We're redoing one where we're going to be pretty close to that. We have in the control arm a twin match with 120 patients. So to have a really strong control arm is fantastic. And more important, in our control arms, we have all comers. We have people with kidney issues. We have people with disease levels where a clinical trial might not be able to accept you. But in our data, we have that. So we can say, oh, they're a high-risk patient for these other reasons, and they're included in our data set. So in some ways, we'll never be able to replace a clinical trial, but in other ways, we can fill gaps and answer your questions so you can make the best decision for you and moving forward in your life and how you want that relationship to be with your doctor and your family. So we're really excited to provide that to you and give you the answers that are really difficult to ask sometimes. So hopefully that answers that question.
I saved the best question for last and the most difficult question, and that's why I gave it to Nathan. So explain to us, Nathan, what Jay and Todd just described. How does that translate into time and cost savings and, more importantly, progress for the myeloma community?
That's easy. So we've worked with a number of doctors and investigators. All of them have been outstanding, and we look forward to working with them again. Each of them have remarked how much faster their research has gone when using HealthTree Cure Hub. And so two examples, we did this one study with Dr. Jens Hillengass. He's a great doctor at Roswell Park in Buffalo, New York. He came from Germany. No offense to any Germans.
That's what makes them great.
So it makes him great, that's true. And so he conducted this study originally in Germany. It took him approximately 3 years. They got 600 patients to participate. It was a great success. And so when he came here to the United States, he wanted to recreate that. So it's identical study. The only difference was that it was facilitated by a HealthTree Cure Hub. And we had 600 plus participants in 3 months. So we took 3 years and consolidated it into 3 months, and we gave him the results, and he published it. And so that was just light years faster. Another study that we did was with Manny. And if you haven't had a chance to meet or talk to Manny, he's in my opinion, awesome. He's just this firecracker, just anxious to do research and move the field forward. And so he came with us with a study in collaboration with Dr. Saburov as well. And many of you probably participated in the study, but I don't know what they were expecting, but we ended up getting over 1,500 patients to participate in this study. And that snowballed into an abstract that was published to a national conference. It got accepted as a manuscript to a national journal. So it was, and all of this was done in 6 months?
Actually
Less than 6 months. So it was, again, just we're able to speed up the process. And when we can do that, we can save money. And so we don't charge academia a dime. So in that regard, we're saving hundreds of thousands, if not millions, depending on the breadth of the study. And we're saving just time. And hopefully that translates into saving lives.
So we have time for one or two questions, and I sure hope you have one or two questions. Otherwise, we will move along to Dr. Manny. Does anybody have any questions about clinical trials? Yes, I can. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. I'm just going to give you this so we get it for the recording.
So my question is around the database. So access to the database, is that primary academia that has access to the database, or is that expanded beyond that?
Get this. Who wants to take that one? That's a real fun one.
I think all of us can.
I think that's probably the most important question to ask today is who has access to it. And right now, only us, only HealthTree Cure Hub personnel have access. What we do is and when I bring data in, I just see de-identified data, and I just see the outcome variables and descriptive variables of interest to that study. So we want to protect who you are, your medical records, and Todd should answer a little bit more of the technical aspect behind that. But from a research aspect, it's all de-identified. Then we control all the reports that come out of that too, so that we can make sure that they're of high quality and there's no, all the bias is removed from it, and the answer is truly the answer that the data is giving us. And then Todd, do you want to talk about the technical part?
Yeah, so your personal information is never shared without your knowledge. If there were a need for that, we would reach out and get your permission first. And if you did not give permission, it would not be shared. So we consider it your data, not our data, and that you can have done what you want with your data. And it is, it's in a database that uses all the latest technology to keep it safe from hackers and people that try to break in. It updated almost on a daily basis with the latest and greatest patches and all that to keep it safe and as secure as what's available today to do that. So.
Can I do one more on this? So there was recently the NIH did a webinar on rare diseases, and to get new drug targets for rare diseases is a huge issue because you have to get the biological samples. So you have the cells so you can find what proteins on them might respond to the future drug. In rare diseases, institutes just don't have the numbers to run that data. But with HealthTree Cure Hub, what we can do is look at where people are getting treatment. They may or may not have samples there. We don't know. But then we can reach out to you and say, hey, if this university is interested in this drug target and identifying it, would it be okay if they reached out to you and then to the to your treatment center and see if there's a slide available? And why the NIH is really interested in this is because as a patient advocacy group, we can have where those samples might be compiled in one place, and then over a course of a month or two, we can identify if that study design is feasible or not, and then the universities and academic centers can coordinate amongst themselves to share samples. And this happens across all rare diseases. So we can play a really big role in that. And then, of course, we would ask you your permission and involvement in that study.